Live. We have the September 2nd edition of the SMT podcast.
Hey,
I have,
Sneed.
hey, buddy.
When the heck did September start? I thought July was yesterday.
It seriously feels like the summers just flew by, dude. I mean, I feel like I just got out of school and I had the summer to do everything I wanted to do, and it's over. Like, I'm already back at work. The schedules, we're back on, like, the normal work time frame schedule. My little one's got soccer again. Like, it's just back to normal, man. The summer's
Thought I'd
over.
thought I'd find a job.
I know, seriously. And I mean, not only is July over, August is over, September is here.
Makes me
The
think of a Green Day song.
so
Cause
Pete, we got like a couple of devices coming up soon, right?
yeah, like was it next month? We're getting the 7.
You're gonna get an iPhone. You're gonna get a Pixel. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna buy the iPhone. I know you're definitely gonna get the Pixel for sure.
I'm talking with the wife, seeing if she wants an upgrade too. I'm willing to dip on 2 trade-ins.
Oh yeah, so the trade-ins at Google these days have been really good. So I definitely think that's the way you should go.
Dude, on my 5, I got like 45% off on the 6 Pro. It was nuts.
Yeah, Kazi even mentioned it. He's like, man, the iPhone 13 and the Pixel 6 series, they just feel like they were just released. It really does. The year flew, dude. That is insane. To think like the Pixel 6 just pretty much got matured, right? Updates came, fixed some problems. The new iPhone is going to launch. I think they're doing an iPad too. I think so.
I don't pay attention to that stuff.
That's actually the only device that I think is like unique and different because I feel like they do tablets the best. Like the iPad experience with like a unique iOS build for the iPad makes a lot of sense. You could like integrate the pencil, a creator, an editor. Those types of things can be really cool with that type of gear. Not to say you couldn't do it with a Pixel tablet if they would make one.
I'd love to bust out a Pixel Pen on my
Pete,
Pixel Slate.
how about a foldable Pixel tablet? How about that, bro?
That'd be nice. And talking about foldables, Brad jumps in early with the super chat saying, I bought the Z4 Fold. Not really into the folding aspect, though. You'll get used to it, Brad.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. You got to get used to the format of the layout of the OS, and then just the form factor of the physical holding piece. Like you got to get used to just putting it away, tearing it down, pulling it back out. You get used to your workflow if it becomes a productivity device. There's so much potential with these folding phones. I mean, I'm going to take the plunge at some point, but I want mine to be from a Google device. I respect what Samsung is doing, but I just prefer the Google experience, Pete. So if I'm going to do a foldable, I want it to be from them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some people like their iPad OS life and their Apple experience. But yeah, give me pure Android and I'm happy.
Yeah, there's some people who are going to probably own 2 devices. Having a foldable and then just like a standard device of whatever your choice is makes a lot of sense. I personally think that owning an iPhone and your choice of Android phone makes a lot of sense. For a lot of people that want to be in on the iOS of, the ecosystem within like what Apple offers with some people like the iMessage, some people like the social media applications through the iOS lens. And then if that's really all you need to be in on, well then, you own your Galaxy, you own your Pixel, you get I think a superior OS is Android. It's been buggy, it's not perfect. But in terms of the flow, where things are, the UI, I've enjoyed Android a lot. And there's nothing wrong with iOS. I just find myself preferring the Google experience of Android. Like it. I wish phones were a little bit more mature at launch. Having to wait for 6 updates is kind of rough. little things to get fixed here and there. But
Hey, I'd rather do that than use Samsung. Um, I'm
see, but the
perfectly
Samsungs make the
happy.
powerhouses, Pete. They make the
I'm
powerhouse
perfectly
devices.
happy with the power in the Samsung, the One UI. I just hate the apps I can't uninstall that get bundled in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that probably echo that sentiment. And Pete, those are probably the people in Google phones, like you and me.
That's actually I think their target audience, um, the ones that don't like the bloat.
Yeah. Yeah, we would love a Samsung Google edition, whatever, that would be like on the wish list. So we got those devices coming out. We're actually going to talk about one of them today. Actually, kind of both, I suppose. So we're going to cover a couple of those stories. I kind of wish Moose was here to kind of discuss this first one. We'll go ahead and start with the screen share, and I've got this posted, but I do want to link this for you guys, and I'll put it in the
Hey,
live chat. I'll
Sneed,
try to remember to put it in the
Sneed.
yeah.
If you want to hold off on an article you want Moose with, we can just start on a different one.
Usually, what Moose does, he just jumps back in and goes back to it. So we're used to it by now.
I try to avoid touching things that were already done when I jump in.
Yeah, but it's Moose, and he's the original. You know how that goes, man. He calls his shots. All right, how about this one, Pete? This one is from Mac Rumors. The story just recently, like this afternoon, just came out. So I had already made my afternoon video, already put out the post, and
I
then
think I
I came
watched that
across this.
one.
Yeah, so this is actually a Verizon and Apple services relationship, and it looks like it's going to be coming with the iPhone 14 launch. So you guys might remember, Hans trying to pull a slick one. Oh, 5G just got real. You remember when he was up on the stage with Tim Apple? And
Vaguely.
it was a couple of years ago. It was with the iPhone 12 launch. That's probably why it's vaguely.
Wait.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, we're talking about like 2018.
20 when was no, it was 2020.
Wait, it's still not 2020?
Pete, it's September 2nd, 2022, dog.
Oh God, where's my life gone?
Where you been, man? Verizon plans to become the first US carrier to include Apple One as a free perk with an eligible plan alongside the launch of the iPhone 14 models later this month. This according to information obtained by Mac Rumors from a carrier source.
Is Apple One like that Pixel Pass or something?
The Apple One is like a bundle of Apple services. Like it's like their news thing. There's a number of services there. They've got like Apple Music, Apple Arcade, so you get your gaming, you get your streaming music. They put all that in there, and they call it Apple One. And if you pay for one service, usually things are like $3, $4, $5. They're gonna throw in like a bundle of like 6 or 7 things, sell it to you for $15.
So it's like that Disney Plus, ESPN Plus bundle.
Oh, so doesn't it sound like a match made in heaven, Pete, with Verizon and Apple One?
I mean, AT&T's the iPhone network, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't mean that Verizon doesn't want to sell iPhones and then get you locked in for 3 years.
I mean, that's a smart move. They're hemorrhaging, non-business government postpaid customers. Lock people in on the Get More Beyond plan for free Apple One. Perfect.
Yeah, and then if you notice on this picture, Pete, you got that crazy notch. That's the new like punch hole thing for the camera system.
Must say, I like my Pixel 6 Pro notch better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want as minimalistic as possible. I want as much screen real estate unobstructed as possible. But the plan that's definitely going to be having it is going to be the 5G Get More. So that's an interesting play, Pete. The traditional approach for Verizon was as long as you don't have the starter unlimited or the start unlimited, whatever it's called. So do more, play more, and get more. Those 3 upper tier plans, right? Just not the entry plan.
You're
You got
welcome.
all the goodies. You qualified for those things. So this one's gonna kind of buck the trend. They might just be throwing it onto the super pricey one, the $90 plan. In that plan, they also offer other perks. They got a Google Play Pass, they got Disney Plus, they have Hulu, ESPN Plus, 600 gigs of Verizon cloud storage. I think there's
I
some
don't
other
like
stuff
that
too.
cloud storage, by the way.
I remember they had like a Sling thing for a while, so I don't know if they still offer that, but
They did, but that cloud storage, it's like as locked in as iCloud. So, not a
yeah,
fan.
they're definitely pricing some people out of this. Like, not everybody wants the most expensive plan. A lot of people are kind of pinching pennies at this point, looking for ways to save some money as they kind of navigate through the economic waters. So maybe this makes life happier for some people who already have the plan. I don't know.
I mean, it's
Like, who's
either,
moving up for this, Pete? Like, are people going to upgrade for this from do
I'm not.
more, play more, start, or whatever?
I wouldn't, but I increased my internet free fee fivefold, so I'm not in the market.
Apple is widely expected to unveil the iPhone 14, the Apple Watch Series 8, and more during an event at the Steve Jobs Amphitheater on September 7th. Devices should go on sale by September 16th in the US and other countries. Verizon offering the Apple One services with an eligible plan could help to attract customers to the carrier heading into the holiday shopping season. The deal should also further bolster Apple's service business, which set a June quarter record with $19.6 billion in revenue and was the company's second largest revenue source, only behind the iPhone sales themselves. So, what say you, Pete? This going to do anything for Verizon? This going to do anything for Apple? This going to do anything for the consumer? Does it make anyone smile?
I mean, if you're already on the plan and you're doing iPhone life, yeah.
Doing the iPhone life. Big facts, man. I mean, it's a good relationship. I always feel like, carriers getting in, with Apple makes sense. They haven't really done much with Samsung. The Google relationship with Verizon has been quiet for a couple of years. It was good with the original Pixel launch. It made sense. The Pixel 2 didn't get a much of a push. The Pixels in and of themselves don't really sell. So, you got to focus your attention and your promotions and your specials, all that stuff.
What sells?
Yeah, I don't Baby Yoda, I think Pete's got the dog. I don't have the dog.
Yeah, I'm trying to mute around her barking.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not too bad. Yeah, I don't have a dog. Dog. All right, man. That's the Verizon story with the Apple relationship. Looks like they're going to continue doing that. All right, how about this next one, Pete? This one's good too. Let me copy and paste this into the live stream and then we can discuss it. Pete, are you intrigued by the prospects of having your phone connect to a satellite if you don't have a cellular network available to you?
We've been through this. Yeah, but
Me
my
too.
expectation is if I'm connecting to a satellite, a laggy phone call, not a data session. And tell you the truth, I'll be damn happy with that.
So the prospects of us being able to do a voice call, an emergency message via satellite piques our interest. We're really intrigued by this. But the hoopla with the announcement with T-Mobile last week with satellite home internet provider Starlink by SpaceX service, it was about the iPhone, wasn't it? Didn't they mention that, like, you could do it from your iPhone and this and that? Well,
I can do it from my Pixel, so
that's kind of where we're going with this. The next version of Android is going to actually support satellite connectivity. So you're not going to have to own an iPhone in order to capitalize on that service or that feature. With Android 14 able to support it, that's just the next, upgraded version of the OS. right? Android
So,
13 is the newest one, right, Pete?
yep. But
Uh,
Sneed, I'm expecting us to just get a carrier setting or carrier profile update
sure.
for
Yeah,
T-Mobile and just lock in on the pixels.
sure. Because really what it's going to be, Pete, is it's going to be specific band support, right? And as long as the phones have the hardware, which they do, then we should be good, right?
Pixel 5 at N25, so works perfectly. Oh,
Yeah.
we've got a super chat from Phony Baloney News saying new iPhone reminds me of Gilbert Gottfried. Yeah, smash those pineapples.
Yeah. R.I.P. Gilbert Gottfried, man. News broke of this news from Google's own VP of Platforms and Ecosystems, Hiroshi Lockheimer, took to Twitter to confirm that the next version of Android will be able to connect to the nearest satellite above you. The tweet in response to T-Mobile and SpaceX's latest collaboration, which will see the carrier utilize Starlink satellites in order to provide connectivity to phones in cell coverage dead zones. The service will hopefully be free for T-Mobile subscribers on their popular plans, but the service isn't expected to be live until late 2023 in the earliest.
You know, I hope they didn't sack those engineers so I could get this feature for free. I do a $5 upcharge and barely use it, but
Yeah.
be thankful when it's there.
If you ever had to use it, it'd be a
Yeah.
priceless use, so it wouldn't
Oh,
even matter.
talking about carrier services, your pixels will call 911 if they detect a rapid stop in a car
Yeah, man.
or them flipping over. So you're in the middle of nowhere, you have a pixel phone, you're unconscious. It will still call 911 for you. And if you cannot answer, Google will give them your GPS location.
It would be pretty cool to see integration with a wearable on this too, Pete. No.
Oh, I think I talked about that with Zero Cool and Carlos. You'd have to have some massive antennas and battery on your wearable to get that done.
Well, not on the wearable in the sense that the wearable would be doing the heavy lifting, but it's synced to your phone, right? So the phone's got the hardware, but your wearable is in full sync with your phone.
They did not announce that on the Pixel Watch yet, so quiet.
That's what I'm looking for. I think if I'm doing a wearable, because I don't like the Apple Watch, I think they're ugly by design. The square design is not really my shag. I kind of like round timepieces. So I used to have the Moto 360 watch, which I absolutely loved and adored. It stopped getting support. I kind of stopped wearing it, dude. But I absolutely
I have
loved it.
a
So I would love a newer version of something that looks like that.
I have a Fossil too, and it has a round face. The only issue I have is it only gets 20 hours of battery life.
Yeah, battery life is a thing. That's important to those wearables. Android 14U will likely be arriving in February or March of 2023 as a beta for eligible Pixels. So you could probably either like side load it or whatever, manually get it on your device. It'll be officially released August of 2023. That makes sense. As a refresher, Android 13 is already out for the Pixel phones, coming to other brands in the coming months. So that all just depends on your device manufacturer and your carrier
If
support,
you're
essentially.
if you're not rocking Pixel Life, you may enjoy the new battery saver features.
This is pretty cool, Pete. I like what I'm seeing here. I like the directional movement towards an additional connectivity support tool. What do you think? End of 2023, early 24? Where you at with this, dog?
I'm expecting satellite to the first ones to go online about a year from now.
Okay, so you got mid-year next year, Q3 maybe.
Yeah, Q3, late Q3, early Q4.
I would love to be a beta tester. When you mentioned how you were gonna like go to the middle of the desert in Nevada and try to
Oh,
call up the old lady or myself.
hey, you saw that group chat I started with you and a community member. We
Yeah.
we we wanna go out and do some hikes like Grand Canyon, and not for the data like the video or streamer experience, but the ability to give a friend a call and say, "Hey, uh, testing this. It's nice."
Yeah, Pete. I on my like to-do list on my agenda, if I'm out there like that, to expect data streams and stuff like that. It's just not a fair expectation. It would be cool though to get that call in, you know, 8,000, 10,000 feet up on some freaking mountainside, and still be
My
able to call, right?
Come out to Colorado, do a 14er.
Do a 14 or sheesh, man. 14,000
Fourteen
feet?
thousand feet. You gotta. I'll feed you for 2 weeks before we even start to try.
I
You
was
might
gonna
take a
say,
free
dude, you got to
trip.
give me time to acclimate, dog.
Hey, I'll give you time to acclimate, and we'll take multiple trips because acclimate, getting used to 6.5k feet is nothing compared to 14. So you gotta tease your way up.
I mean, I'm pretty physically fit, so I don't think that would be the trouble. I think it would literally just be the acclimation piece. That's it.
I've had some really fit people I had to carry down having altitude sickness. So
Sheesh, man. All
you're
right.
waiting. You got to plan 2-3 weeks for the summit.
Sheesh, man.
Hey, I don't want to carry you down.
I don't want to have to be carried. I'd feel like a punk, bro. I'd probably just
How,
roll down
how much do you weigh?
like almost 200.
I'd have to leave behind a gallon of water.
All right, Pete. How about this next one? This one was the most recent upload on the channel. We covered this
Yep.
story. What do you think of this title here? It says it looks like Verizon accidentally bought 1.5 million worth of 2.5 gigahertz spectrum.
I see T-Mobile buying it up for 2 million.
Oh, you think that they're willing to pay the whatever it was?
I could so as Dano pointed out in this article, and if you didn't watch the video, uh, it was on Discord, and I got a YouTube notification. But Verizon bid on those simply to up the price for T-Mobile, and T-Mobile said, "Jokes on you. We don't want to go with an increased price like that." But I do see T-Mobile offering them 2 million because there are closing and licensing fees on top of buying Spectrum license.
Verizon's probably kind of aggravated that this played out like this. They probably just wanted to drive up the pricing at the auction. They probably didn't want to really end up with it and then have to try to sell it later or even remotely consider building it. I mean, the only thing on their mind right now, Pete, modernize the LTE and put up C-band panels, right? Get the radio gear, hang radios, hang antennas, do the CBRS piece where they have licenses or it makes sense to add support for LTE. They're probably on their agenda is trying to figure out some of this backhaul issues. There's some places that have limited backhaul. If you got 160 megahertz of N77, you're not pushing that with 1 gig backhaul, right? That's
Nope.
like a last resort. Like
You
you're like,
need
okay, well, we'll turn on 1 gig backhaul for now, but like within a year, we're trying to push this for real, like with a 10 gig circuit.
mid band to get the best use out of it. You need to be having a minimum of a 10 gig backhaul. Um, with the exception
Remember when
of
we used to say that about millimeter wave, Pete?
yeah, but do have we encountered millimeter wave recently without a 10 plus gig backhaul?
It's the only way it makes sense.
I mean, if you have a 1 gig backhaul in millimeter wave, why'd you pay extra for the equipment?
Yeah. I mean, if you look where they're putting millimeter wave, I mean, there's multi-gig backhaul running along all these aerials in Cleveland. I mean, you can just see the stuff up there. You got the power lines, and then you got like 2, 3, 4 different providers running fiber optic. Some of it's actually utility, Pete. Like, I was talking to the guy that was doing fiber work in front of the bakery, I think it was like 3-4 weeks ago. He's like, this fiber is owned by the city. It's specifically run for the police department. I didn't even know that they did that. So I was shocked and surprised to learn that. And then
Hey, I guess
Verizon
Comcast didn't put um, public entities balls in a vice when it came to fiber deployment in Ohio.
well, Spectrum's got fiber there, and so does AT&T. So they've all got it. You can buy it from whoever you want. There's multiple options. Even the business side has some competition. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a good position to be in. If you're looking for competition in the marketplace and you want to shop a little bit. To kind of get back on board with this, the way this is worded is it's making it sound like Verizon had no interest in it. There is one location, however, that we were able to spot that actually seemed to make sense, and that was Alaska. They got some licenses there because
I
apparently
also think
C-band
they
doesn't
did.
exist there.
C-band does not. They also get some in Dallas, which is a pretty good location.
I don't think it's Dallas. I think it's Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, wait,
Okay, so if you look in
that
the
is
Southwest,
Oklahoma.
Pete, if you look in the Southwest, that's like just outside of Phoenix, right? And then
I've been
it's
there. It's
and
pretty
then
desolate.
there's like a county like in central Oklahoma. Then there's I don't even know what city this is, but it's southwest of Chicago, but it's northeast of St. Louis. It's like smack dab in the middle. And then we have a little bit right on in it's northern New York. It's pretty close to Toronto. So I'm guessing it's kind of like Niagara Falls-ish. Maybe it's a little bit east of Niagara Falls actually.
That's east of Buffalo.
Okay, so maybe this is a little bit further upstate. There's a random place in North Carolina. I see like a random place in Tennessee.
Yep.
I see a random place in Kentucky. It's like right on the border of like Indiana and Ohio, right in the corner. It's just a couple of counties away. But like look at the spectrum depth, Pete. Some of these counties they got 100 megahertz.
And
some
that
of them
was
Pete, some of them is 47 megahertz. Like what the hell, man?
some of these counties. I think the largest county allotment was 140, 160. So that's most of it.
That's really random. This has to be the most unusual spectrum auction we've ever seen. It raised very little money. Verizon got weird licenses. T-Mobile did exactly what we thought they would do, 90+%. In fact, me and you actually thought it would be higher. I was thinking 96%, 98%. Like
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be just a handful of licenses going to some regional carriers doing fixed wireless at like 17 megahertz spectrum depth. So it's just weird, man. Weird locations, weird
hey,
situations.
a lot of Denver, a lot of Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming were regional carriers that got 17 to 25 for fixed wireless.
Yeah, I'm not buying this accidentally stuff. I think it was strategy that in some instances backfired and now they're either looking to sell it or lease it or something. They're not going to hang radios for this, Pete. Maybe in Alaska, right? But here's the thing.
You'd have microwave backhaul in Alaska for the most part.
Yeah, so having a 100 megahertz channel on what 500 meg microwave circuit.
Hey, that's better than what you had.
Well, I mean, you're hoping that they hang radios and actually do this. It makes more sense for them to sell it to T-Mobile and then they could just build it out with the what is it? GCI?
Yep,
Doesn't that make more sense?
that would be logical, and if you think about it, it would save both of them money.
I don't know, man. I don't see a world where in the continental USA Verizon's hanging radios and antennas for 2.5 gigahertz. I mean, unless there's some kind of like Ericsson radio that's able to do it, and the antenna and the radio is compatible. Because from what I can see, all the C-band gear they're putting up right now is specific to 3700. And even AT&T's having hell trying to find integrated radio gear that's doing the 3400 and the 3700. What's going on, Big Term? Got Big Term in the house, man, popping in the live stream. Yeah,
Nice. Gotta get
yeah, I
up
don't,
for a second.
yeah, I don't know, Pete. I don't know if they're going to be hanging up any gear. We'll continue to follow the story. You guys know I'll get you updates when the things do happen. We'll see if Verizon actually puts up gear in Alaska. We'll see if they actually do anything in these other places, these counties. They're all in on C-band. They're all in on millimeter wave, in the markets where it makes sense for them. They're doing fixed wireless access. It would make sense for them to do the 2.5 gigahertz for fixed wireless if they have a channel that's 100 megahertz deep. I just don't see it, man. To me, it just probably going to be looking to sell, lease something, and then they can get a fair value for it. Makes sense.
Yeah, as I said, 2 million and should be gravy. Heck, T-Mobile was expecting to pay, um, from what I heard, north of 500 million, and the entire thing only ended with 448 million. So, uh, T-Mobile's really interested, and they can get a good agreement. Uh, T-Mobile will get it in the end.
Yeah, T-Mobile probably doesn't want to give Verizon money, but it's about their customers, man, and it's about their network. I think they would be wise to consider the best decision for the company. You know. All right, Pete. Next story. Boost Infinite. Pete, do you know which company is Boost Infinite?
What is that? Amazon?
That is Fire Mobile.
Yeah.
Just kidding, everyone. It is Dish, their wireless network. For those of you, maybe you call it DishNet. Boost Infinite names its first 25 markets.
I
This was a
still
story
call it
that broke a
fire.
couple days ago. Yeah. So this one, uh, people are excited, Pete. People want to see Dish make some noise. People want to see Dish come in, try to be disruptive in pricing, try to be disruptive in technology. We're excited about ORAN and VRAN. We like the concept of that. We like a standalone 5G network. We like a greenfield network, right? They're not building on old legacy LTE standards. I mean, hell, Pete, just recently we were talking about 3G shutdowns, man.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
must say, I'm as about as psyched as the FCC is when it comes to dish deployments
Oh, nice.
because, uh, like them, I just want to see Dish get their spectrum on air because otherwise, why do they have it?
Yeah. Yep. So the Boost Infinite Dish Wireless postpaid brand is eventually going to go nationwide. They're going to start with signups in this in these beta markets, and now we've got confirmation. They are going to be shooting for, I guess, launches out of their best Boost mobile stores. So I don't know what that's going to look like, Pete. It might be like a segment of the store is going to be operating Boost Mobile, or it might just be fully integrated, meaning you go to the counter and you're served by the same agents for Boost Infinite and then Boost Mobile prepaid. They're obviously going to need new systems. They're going to need new training. They're going to be selling services kind of like in a different way. I know they're going to be doing some bundling. They're going to probably try to get Sling involved and entertainment stuff. I know they got some
What about
crypto
that?
relationships. I mean, there's some crazy stuff out there, Pete.
What about that Dish satellite service?
Yeah, and they're probably going to end up bundling and doing some small discounts on TV or the service itself. If you go to the Boost Infinite website, it does say that the postpaid service is coming soon. 25 markets have been listed. Largely, it looks like the Southwest, with a pretty noticeable absence along the eastern seaboard. Okay, so Pete, here's kind of like the state representation. It is mostly from like Texas,
Sweet.
Oklahoma, Yeah, like, and then west, you get California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona. But look at the cities, though. Ohio represented, man. We got the two biggest markets in the state. You get Cleveland and you get Columbus.
Take a look. We have Pueblo, Colorado, and nothing closer to me.
Wait, is there a Colorado city in here?
Yeah, fourth down on the second column.
Fourth down. Oh, where's the location, Pete? Pueblo.
That's about 130 miles north of New Mexico on I-25.
So the reason I think this one is interesting, Pete, is because they're based out of Colorado. Like Dish as a company. Isn't it Lakewood, Colorado or something?
Yep, Tom Tom's hometown.
Okay. Yeah, and they're not really well representing that state. So they're I think they're going in strategic places where they can hit their numbers and it's easy to build. They're looking at, permitting and building tower sites, places where the things are a little bit looser for them. They can
I
get in,
think
they can upgrade sites.
I think Pueblo is like the fifth largest city or sixth largest city in Colorado, and probably has some lax permitting.
And it says join our team. 40 years experience in the wireless industry. We know what it takes to succeed. I don't think so. That is not accurate. We know what it takes to succeed. We don't know that. Competitive compensation, diverse revenue streams, an entire support team, plus much more. I'll be honest with you, Pete. After last week's news from Dish, where they were actually like closing Boost Mobile stores, laying
Yep,
off Boost Mobile force,
doesn't seem tempting.
they're doing that in order to do this launch. That's not encouraging, dog.
Wait. Sell you phone. Go
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
What is a sell you phone?
Sellyoufone.com, bro, if you want to join the team.
It's a horrible name.
Here's some of the branding we're seeing from Boost Infinite. You get this like infinity logo. More than one unlimited plan equals complicated. One plan, one price equals simple. Boost Infinite, wireless made simple. Sign up for early access at boostinfinite.com. And then here's kind of your branding there. All the all those like unlimited plans and everything. Mega and Max and Super and Elite and
Hey, like I do.
yeah, you do. Charlie Ergen still at the helm. And because of that, that makes this murky and it makes it difficult. The Boost Mobile piece, like the prepaid company, continues to hemorrhage customers. That doesn't bode well because they need customers paying their bill for them to generate revenue to build a daggone network, man. So until they can stop the bleeding on that side and then get some people to sign up for the beta and get people to pay for service, I mean, and then all that whole reorganization, shifting and layoffs at Boost Mobile and closing stores, it doesn't look good, man. I've been very much so an optimist. For the first time since the first inklings of Dish Wireless, Pete, for the first time ever, I'm down on Dish. I have to be. I can't remain optimistic if I don't believe in what I'm saying.
I know. And they're my expectation is they'll get stuff on error, and anything beyond that, I'm ready to have my expectations beaten.
Well, they do have roaming agreements, so like if you are a customer, it's not like you're never going to be without signal. You know, based on what we're hearing, you'll be connected to AT&T when you're not on native Dish, which AT&T for the most part has a pretty good national network. Most of the time you're going to have coverage unless you live in Peach City.
Yeah, you'll be on T-Mobile here in Longmont.
Which wouldn't it be cool, Pete, if the SIM was provisioned to have access to T-Mobile and AT&T?
Oh yeah, kind of like my Pixel is now with my Magenta for Business and Los Mobile Blue.
Oh, you got your eSIM thing going on?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so that would be pretty sweet. And we don't know how that's going to be executed. That's just pie in the sky wishful thinking. It would be cool if it could do it. We haven't heard anything specific about the capability of, like, if you're not on Dish Native, your phone's going to pick up whatever the best quality signal is or whatever. It would be pretty sweet. I would absolutely love that. I always thought Google Fi was the best concept, right? Wi-Fi hotspots. I don't really get the US Cellular thing, but whatever, fine. US Cellular. I guess there's places where they do have some coverage where there's no other carriers, but like having, T-Mobile and Sprint was pretty cool. But I always wish that one other provider they should have had, either AT&T or Verizon, right? Because for the most part, they have
Oh
both
yeah,
have larger networks than T-Mobile. So like, chances are, if you don't have a T-Mobile signal, the other one does. Or sometimes it happens the other way. Like they've just built a tower site. There's nobody else there, and it's like that would be sweet if you could just have access to that.
indeed it would.
We'll see what happens with Dish. Following it closely. I'm less optimistic than I was before. And I'm not trying to poo-poo or put anybody down or disrespect the fine folks that are working there. I'm just I'm just looking at the way it's playing out, man, and it just does not make me happy. It's a lot of negatives, and I've been telling people, be more optimistic, be more positive about it. I can't do that anymore, Pete. It's just too many red flags, dude.
So you're going to be at my level of positivity?
Well, I think you've actually warmed up a little bit because they actually hung up radio gear. So, like, the moment they started doing that, you're like, "Oh, okay, they're actually building," right? I think that's kinda where I'm at. Like, I get that they're building, I get that they're
Yes.
making a network, but, like, we still don't have a retail concept, and we still don't have, like, a real launch. I don't know. Alright, Pete.
What
What
would be a real launch in your opinion?
um,
Hi,
like, I
Moose.
could I could go on the website, order a phone, get the SIM all in, like, 2 days, right? Like, next day shipping, 2-day shipping. Like, right now, I've tried to place orders, Pete. It doesn't work.
They
The
say
website
they'll
keeps shutting.
email me.
What up, Moose?
We got a moose sighting.
Yep, we got a moose sighting. Never
We
lost.
got a moose sighting.
Never
Never.
lost.
Okay, so what were the topics really quickly? Just to recap really quick.
All right, we had the Mac rumors about Apple and Verizon with the partnership with the Apple One coming to their most expensive or premium plan. I kind of was hoping that you would be on there for that. Well, what is your take on that? If Verizon does the Apple One included in the most expensive, get more plan, and $15 value, they're just kind of throwing it in there.
Yeah, that's a big one, guys. Apple One. I mean, it's about $30 of value. You know,
Well,
but
you'd be paying if
remember
you
what we
wanted
talked
Apple
about,
One,
Sneed.
you'd be paying 15.
Oh, so it's only for one line.
No, I mean you'd get it on the account, wouldn't you? Isn't that account level stuff?
Well, so there's a couple of plan differences of Apple One, right? There's the individual Apple One for just one person, right? Which I believe is $15 up to $20 because there's two different tiers. And then if you want the all-inclusive, including the Fitness Plus, it's $30 a month plus tax. So that only supports up to 6 people.
So would Verizon be just eating up the cost for multiple accounts if you got more than 6 lines?
I think it's going to be a discount.
Discounted. All right. We talked about the Boost Infinite launch, Moose. 25 markets, Cleveland and Columbus is on there. Some mostly in the West, not much on the Eastern Seaboard. They're not really They're not really progressing as we thought we would see them. I'm less optimistic than I've ever been about the company in terms of wireless. I'm just when I found out that they were, you know, stealing from Peter to pay Paul, taken away from Boost Mobile, reorganization, layoffs, and all that, just so they could launch their service, their postpaid. We don't know what their retail plan is. We don't know what their motto is going to be. Their branding is bland. I don't know, man. And then we also talked about Verizon getting the 2.5 gigahertz spectrum. They got like 100 megahertz in a
Mhm.
couple of markets, county level licenses here. And Mike Dano's article basically saying that it was a mistake. Verizon actually did not intend to buy it. They intended to drive up pricing to make life challenging on T-Mobile, and then it backfired because T-Mobile allowed them to win, uh, to win those licenses and successfully bid. And now Verizon's stuck with them. There's like a place in North Carolina. There's one in Kentucky, Tennessee. I think we saw Oklahoma. There's some spots in Arizona outside of Phoenix, and then Alaska, which has like 100 megahertz of 2.5 gigahertz for Verizon, which makes sense because they don't have C-band there. Maybe they actually are building out like capacity within those that area or whatever, that county of Fairbanks. So that's what we talked about, Moose. If you want to jump in on that before we start the Samsung story.
Yeah, I mean the dish finally doing something. Exciting times. But again, uh, we we just need to wait and see, right? We don't know how much their plans are going to cost. Probably undercutting, like huge discount
They're
in the
gonna
beginning for
have to
early
undercut.
adopters, and then
They're gonna have to
yeah,
undercut for sure.
yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen, but excited to see what happens. I mean, we can go into the Samsung one. And by the way, this is a big one. I did get an email from
Oh damn!
this because
Wow.
I have a Samsung, S22 Ultra, right? And
Oh, that's right. You do. Yeah.
so we'll see.
All right, man. Uh, Samsung. This is actually being reported by Axios.com. Samsung had a customer data breach in July, and I haven't actually looked at the story, but let's see what people, what's been compromised. So in terms of time frame, it happened sometime in late July. Some customer personal information was exposed. It says here that this is the second data breach that Samsung has confirmed this year, following a previous one that was announced in March from an attack from the Lapsus data extortion group. Samsung sent some customers an
Hold
email.
up.
Yeah.
Lapses. They also got Microsoft.
Oh, that's the same company, Pete?
Yeah.
Oh, man, these guys are getting everybody. Samsung sent some customers an email saying hackers gained access to the company's U.S. systems in late July. The company first noted the intrusion in early August. No social security numbers or credit card numbers were exposed. Hackers may have accessed identifiable customer data, names, contact information, birth dates, product registration numbers. Samsung is contacting affected customers individually. Samsung said it is coordinating with law enforcement, has hired a leading outside cybersecurity firm to investigate the breach. Uh, Samsung didn't mention how many people were impacted. A spokesperson did not respond to a request for comment. Uh, Sheesh, Pete. It feels like every month we're reporting some kind of a breach, doesn't it?
Um. Do you want me to add a segment for breach of the week?
Breach. We could do a Friday breach day.
Well,
It's not a beach day, it's the breach day,
we
man.
have come to the
Seriously.
point of the podcast where we talk about the breach of the week. Um, Actually, I'm kind of serious on that. I'll track down the most recent data breaches. So everyone who says, T-Mobile needs to invest in security. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I read VMware was compromised. So
How bad is this, Moose? on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it a
I couldn't.
is it a
I guess
1?
for
Is it
some
a
reason
10?
my.
Is it a 5? Where are we at?
Well, let me ask you this. Sorry, can you repeat what was breached again? Because this does affect me, right? My Gmail, personal Gmail, is attached to my S22, but I don't do anything in the Samsung phone itself, right? This is just for testing. But
Yeah,
what
I
was
don't think it's
leaked?
I don't I don't think that's the problem. It seems to me it says no social
Mhm.
security numbers or credit cards. So like if you purchase through them, there might be some identifiable customer data, names,
Oh, through the Samsung
contact
store?
information. Yeah, because this is Samsung. So like
Mm.
if you made a purchase through Samsung.com, if you had registered devices through Samsung, like I feel like those would be the people whose information would have been in their database. Just owning a Samsung, I don't think automatic means that your information is somewhere now. Because you could like set up a Samsung device and not set up a Samsung account, right? You could just run it through the whole Google Android Paces, just kind of forego all the Samsung stuff and just have it set up. Like that's what I would do. I've never created anything Samsung, even though I've owned Samsungs in the past. I had the S21 Plus, I had the S20 Plus, I had the Note 10 Plus. Never made a Samsung account.
I'm so happy they killed my account a year and a half ago for inactivity for 5 years.
Oh, because you had the Note 2 or something, didn't you?
Hey, that Note 4 is still running fine, and as long as you're in a mid-band rich area on T-Mobile, no complaints.
Dude, EM Tech is saying a lot of people's work emails were likely compromised.
That is correct. He is right, 100%.
Yeah, so if you had that set up through them, yeah, I could see that being an issue. People using Galaxies for work. Uh, this sucks. Just another breach, man. The breaching will never stop because the hackers will never stop. This is what they do. It's their job. It's their form of employment. You gotta
You
think to yourself,
laugh.
like, when did that person make that decision? Like, I'm gonna be a hacker today. They made that decision.
Sneed, real talk. I made that decision 15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah,
But did you
and
look at it like from an ethical standpoint, or was it just like the glory of being able to break into stuff?
it was the glory, but now I'm a hacker for hire, and I'm kind of pissed the U.S. government has not hired me yet.
Yeah, I wonder what it takes, man.
Um, takes the Senate to legalize marijuana. No, I'm serious.
I
So if anybody watching here wants me to get a job I'm good at, write your senators, tell them pass that damn bill.
Please do.
I'll make the country safer for everyone. Just they gotta pass that bill.
Yeah, Pete's the real MAGA, man. Seriously. All right, guys. Those were the main topics that I wanted to go over in terms of like the structure of the show, but we can definitely open this up. I got great minds with me. Uh, two of the guys that I respect very much so when it comes to cellular wireless industry perspectives on the business side of things. I got Moose and I got Bearded Dragon. We will definitely take some time to answer your questions, discuss what you want us to discuss. It might be plans, it might be services, it might be
Throwing
networks, it could be anything. Just throw it out there.
throwing cybersecurity, damn it.
Yeah, yeah. Pete's got that. He's got you faded, and yeah, that'd be great.
Hold
We're
up.
here for you guys.
We got a super chat for $2 from Giuseppe Jimmy. He's right. I work in cyber. We all smoke weed. Yes, you do, but I cannot get in a government lab. Also, Giuseppe Jimmy, I'll give you my Twitter. You should chat me and see if your place does remote work.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet, man. It'd be nice. Things you never know, man. Things can work out that way. You got it, David. We appreciate you, dog. Glad to help you out. Pass your time at work. Thanks, Giuseppe Jimmy, for the super chat. I've had a couple of people, Pete, tell me, they appreciate the show. They listen while they're at work. Some people listen the next day when they're at work in the morning, because they go to sleep early. They're in bed by like 8 p.m. or whatever, and they're up at 5 a.m. or something, and they listen to the show the next day and they love it. And tell you guys, I'm happy to do it, man. We love doing the podcast. Moose loves to be on. So does Pete. We really do enjoy the community, and we enjoy the interaction. It's kind of become a hobby, but it's also become a labor of love for me. I love it, and it's been good, man. We've been doing the podcast for a few years now. It's been a blast, man. Let's see here. There it is. Here's a question. This one from Ethan. What do you think of the Visible Plus plan? So the Visible Plus plan it's kind of like a premium Visible plan. It makes you think I can have a postpaid like experience while on Visible. So I don't need like my credit to be pulled. I don't, I don't have to actually do like postpaid things, but I still kind of have a postpaid priority experience in a way. But I will tell you guys, the way that Visible is structured, the way the company was launched, it was all about value, right? And that value came at a low price point. That's how they made their value. They didn't give you anything special. They didn't do anything unique and different. It was just, hey, we got this app. We have customer care sometimes. Do things the right way. And it's hit and miss, and they had a lot of problems. And the routing for the longest time was horrible, which made the latency unbearably bad and unresponsive. They've fixed some of that. So, in my estimation, Visible's network access got a little bit better, but the plan itself got a little bit more expensive. So you kind of have to ask yourself that question. If the network access improved 50%, it's 50% better than it used to be. Is it worth the $5 that the cost went up? And there's another thing, and Moose, I want to bring you into this. And Pete, you can comment on it as well. People are clamoring and begging for an AT&T version of Visible with the unlimited capped hotspot, with the unlimited data experience. So basically, essentially, Cricket 2.0, right? What do you guys think about that? A Visible-like plan directly from the AT&T network.
Well, let me put it like this. This generation of iPhone is going to change a lot of the industry. Apple is the biggest manufacturer in the United States in terms of market share. eSIM has been, they've championed it, right, since 2018, right, with eSIM, with the 10S, right, that generation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that having a simplified way of adding MVNO service is in the near future coming, right? I mean, it's definitely top of mind, right, to make it easier for people to get connected. Look at what happened this week alone with the data pass, right, with T-Mobile, right? 3 months. You don't think that other carriers are going to follow suit? You don't think that Visible might offer 3 months free service or a trial period?
I don't think Verizon can afford 3 months free for letting people try their network. Maybe a month, not 3.
I think you got to start with baby steps. A month would be cool. Yeah, but people have been, Moose, I'm telling you, people are clamoring for the AT&T version of Visible.
Yeah, I mean,
does that day ever come? Do we get a Visible like Cricket 2.0?
I don't know. I mean, I personally feel like it's a different type of consumer segment that they're trying to reach out to, right? Cricket is looking at the Hispanic market majority of the time, right? Then the secondary is all the budget conscious folks, right? But the majority of the demographics right now for both Metro and Cricket, you can even put in Boost there, is Hispanic. Why do you think Los Angeles, El Paso, all of Texas basically, and the Southwest, desert Southwest areas, right, are heavy on MVNOs and heavy Metro and Cricket because of the Hispanic market? So, at the end of the day, right, if there's going to be a generational leap of how people are going to be connecting, it also has to align with the consumer base. If the consumer base is not technologically savvy, there's always going to be retail stores, or at the very minimum, authorized retailers.
What do you think about this question, Moose? Would you rather have Verizon Wireless Business or Verizon Wireless Consumer plans?
Business.
I mean, if you have a way to a subsidy on the business plans, I definitely do business. But if there is no subsidy, but I can get a subsidy like a teacher's discount or what's it called, a first responder discount, right, on the main, or even one of those 50% off codes that they bring out randomly, right? I'd get that on the consumer side. I think that when you're on Verizon, it really comes down to, you want to be on the best, quote unquote, best network, right? Because it all depends on where you're talking about, because in Texas, that's not the case, right?
Yep.
Or Florida. But
Mm-hmm.
arguably, overall, on average, right, it is the most connected network. We could say that. Verizon has the most connected network, as in, like, you, on average, will be connected to a something of Verizon, right, compared to the other two. But
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, you get the most connectivity with Verizon.
Yeah, there you go.
But nobody's perfect. No carrier is perfect. I mean, even T-Mobile said it on the Starlink thing, right? There's like 500,000 miles that nobody covers, and that's a lowball estimate for sure.
I mean, they're not including most of Alaska, I'm assuming, in that one.
I don't think anybody's got anything there.
T-Mobile's going to.
Oh,
but
yeah,
not
yeah,
a real data line, but
whoever's got the 600 megahertz licenses, stand up.
No. We're talking N25 with Alaska.
All right. Well, I'm into that. Talk about some mid-band, buddy. I'd rather be on a business line 100%. I don't like the consumer lines. There's a reason why I'm still on my 2017 plan, guys. Just call a spade a spade. Their best plan has nothing on AT&T's best plan or T-Mobile's best plan. That's just fact. You got to pay. What do you got to pay? You got to pay an extra $10 a month to get out of 720p. The hell? You people crazy? What is Hans doing over there, dog? Serving up coffee.
He's got a new alligator
Jesus.
shoes.
Can't give people 1080p on your most expensive plan. What type of nonsense is that?
Coffee. God damn, man.
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, if you're on the ultra-wide band, it's all water under the bridge, but there are places where they don't have it.
Yo. Sneed, are you looking forward to having two options for Magenta MAX?
Bro, I love the Magenta MAX plan. It's such a good plan. Like, the network access, the features. It's like, basically T-Mobile's like, look, we'll give you the best we got. You're paying this price, but you're literally getting whatever the network can give you.
And I mean, if you're in a good place for What the heck is going on? If you're in a good place for T-Mobile, it's like the keys to the kingdom.
Well, you know who's loving it is like T-Mobile builds or upgrades a site, and a person can get out of DSL and get on the T-Mobile home internet, and then they're just going to do the wireless too. So they're going to save money, be on Magenta MAX, get this incredible access, and then have the home internet to replace their crappy DSL or bungholiest cable, you know?
So when I upgrade to the Max, I'm gonna be getting a 100 gig hotspot per phone.
That's crazy, dog. What's the
That
standard beat the consumer? Is it 50?
40.
40?
But I'll put it to you this way: the alternative would be paying $20 a line for 4 tablets.
See, the tablets are cool too. The
Yeah, but you can hotspot the tablets.
hotspot the tablets, and then
The kids can play the game, and they don't have the Wi-Fi tablet or the cellular tablet,
the
so it
moment
saves money on the tablet.
right, the moment Google makes a real Pixel tablet, and then like like let's say it's a foldable or something sweet, you know, I'm getting that, and then I'm gonna want a plan that's got lots of hotspot. You know, Verizon's giving me 15 gigs. I've never used more than like 10 gigs of hotspot in a month. But
I've
if I
dr-
had a device, Pete,
Sneed,
if I had a device that was like always going to be connected, like, yeah, man, I'm into 100 gigs of hotspot. Hell yeah.
Sneed, I've drained 40 gigs of hotspot on my tablet line before.
So you're consuming a lot of media on there.
It was in Puerto Rico, my brother.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I do remember you guys took the trip. That's right.
And I busted out the Nighthawk. It was blazing on band 66 and 2 there. Mm.
Band 2 and band 66, you said?
Oh, yeah.
So it mid band was solid. Nice.
Wasn't on 12 like it was in JFK. Also, we got a $20 super chat from Gene G Jr. He says nothing, but he gave a
Thanks,
super
Gene.
chat. Thank you, Gene.
Thanks, Gene. That's really nice of you, man. And I hope all is well in your world, buddy. I know you've been doing some live streams here and there, and we've been watching your content. I try to pop in there and say hello and support you, and appreciate all that you do to support us, man. Thank you. All right. Carlos is saying that the Visible Plus is unthrottled. I think it's time that I actually reviewed that service. I should probably try it. I did review the Visible service a couple of years ago, and it
When
was
I
good.
when Hey Sneed, when I was visiting you, you were busting out that Visible. So
I
yeah,
mean,
time to get a Visible Max.
Verizon's good here, so Visible's usable. You know, like there are places where Verizon doesn't have the upgraded sites, and Visible's gonna be rough. You know, bottom tier. You know, bottom of the totem pole, QCI 9. It was probably even worse because it was on that freaking network core, that cloud core, whatever. And now it's going to be on the traditional Verizon core. The latency is probably sub 50 millisecond most of the time, you know. And Goddess Hylia was talking about Strongsville. Man, I have extensive testing in the Strongsville area. Tested all those CBRS sites on Pearl Road. I tested like 7 of those CBRS small cells. I tested all the C-band that's out there. I tested the C-band that's over by what street is that, man? I forgot it. Is it by Albion? I tested the C-band that's over by 71 and Pearl. I tested the C-band that's on the other side closer to Brunswick. Dude, Strongsville is loaded with tower site upgrades. T-Mobile's got N41 everywhere in Strongsville. AT&T now has N77 all over Strongsville. That's a great part of town for cellular. Even Sprint was good there before they actually closed up shop and were sold for bits and pieces. And yeah, Carlos, you bring up a good point. I have the ultra wideband add-on on my 2017 line, and it gives me the 1080p video, and it also gives me the ultra wideband. And yes, it's unlimited tethering
So
hotspot.
Sneed, you get You already have 105 gigs on T-Mobile, and you have unlimited ultra wideband on Verizon. You could be hotspot life.
Yeah, it's those are cool features, man. I need that device though. Like if I'm really going to be taking advantage of the unlimited hotspot, I got to have some kind of productivity tool, and I really want it to be a Google Pixel tablet, man. I really do.
Give me a Google pen. I'll be so happy.
That's what I'm talking about, dog.
I mean, I I like my Samsung tablet with the S Pen. I just wish the button on the pen wasn't where I put the bowl of my thumb when I'm writing.
Wow, this is a small world right here, man. Lee County Scratcher, born in Cleveland, raised in Strongsville, but nowadays I'm in Cape Coral, Florida. Went to a went to a much warmer place when it comes to the wintertime. A lot of people actually leave Ohio and go to Florida. A lot of people do. Bro, these winters are harsh, man. People get sick and tired of it. They're like, man, get me the hell out of here.
Sneed, your winters are almost as bad as mine.
You guys get more snow, I'd guess.
Yep, and consecutive days of below zero temperatures.
We get some of those. I don't know how many days consecutive. Like February's rough for us, Pete.
I've gotten 5 days in January where the high was 10 below.
We've had like 2 week stretches in February where we're sub-zero. You know, it's like -5, -10. Wind chills like -20.
I just stand there. There's no wind in shorts and sandals in the sun, going,
Jeez.
man, it's cold.
Oh, Goddess Hylia. I disagree. While I would like to see millimeter wave at Strongsville Mall at South Park, they have 4 CBRS small cells from Target to the mall. Literally every 1,000 feet, there's a CBRS small cell on Pearl Road. And they have 2 N77 sites that sandwich all those small cells. That's the only time I will actually say that you actually don't need millimeter wave. Should they have it? Yeah, I'd say so. Because why not? Well, it's not just the one by the Longhorn. There's one across the street from AT&T. There's one across the street from Verizon. There's one across the street from the National Tire and Battery place. There's one across the street from uh, the CVS. Like, you know, once you cross over Pearl, I'm not even joking. There's like 7 of them as you go towards like Brunswick. It's nuts. I've never seen anything like that before.
Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna head out in a little bit, but definitely, hopefully, with the next podcast, we will have another great session here. Always good insights.
Thanks, Moose. Appreciate it. Oh, and by
Later,
the
man.
way, real quick, Moose update.
Yeah.
AT&T has officially upgraded every tower site that surrounds the airport.
Wow.
Everything is done. The south, the north,
Wow.
and the west, they're all done.
So it's now just a matter of time. Turn it on.
Yeah, they're none of them are on except for the one. It's the furthest
Yeah.
one away. But the two have one of them is the upgrade is complete. It's just not on yet. The other one is getting upgraded right now. I saw the cables. I saw the crews. That'll be done in a couple of days, probably.
Wow. And did you
Yeah.
check the one by the stadium?
The one by the stadium. Which one, Moose?
Yeah,
Stadium.
the one by the
Oh,
where you know
no,
like the
man.
Verizon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not upgraded. I must have been getting inter-carrier aggregation, bro. I'm so pissed.
Ah,
I'm so
that's
pissed,
safe.
dude. I
Still
looked.
good.
I
Yeah.
I looked. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't know where it's at.
It's okay. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter
Only a
of time
matter
now.
of time. That's right.
Exactly.
All right, Moose. Thank you, man.
Alrighty. Thank you. See you guys later.
See ya. Yeah, buddy.
See,
Yeah.
do we have any other good questions here?
Keon just came in. He'll probably come in and tell us that T-Mobile
Keon, ask a question.
T-Mobile should put T1 backhaul on certain sites. He'll probably say something like that.
You don't get customers by copying Verizon's Band 13 strategy, Sneed.
I agree. Verizon 2017 plan throttles hard once you use more than 22 gigs. Not my experience. I've had the plan since February of 2017, and I don't get deprioed, man.
I have one from Lowe, so I think he can tell you some months I've used over 40 gigs on it, watching HD video, and I've never been throttled.
I'm guessing that if you're seeing this, ring it, the network's just congested there. I don't think it would matter what plan you had. Honestly, that's what that sounds like. Yeah. T-Mobile never throttles me once I go over 50 gigs. I'm telling you, because they got upgraded sites out here.
Hey, Sneed, when I go to the max, they won't throttle me either. After 100 gig settings, we got a question from Alternative Reality
Oh, okay.
saying, "Are you willing to pay more for a phone that supports millimeter wave?" Let me
Yes.
start with this.
Go ahead, Pete.
No, I don't live near a millimeter wave market. I mean, Denver has some on Verizon, but eh.
Pete's right. If you don't have it, I wouldn't pay for it either. My city's got it built out pretty good. I want it. I won't buy a phone unless it has millimeter wave. But millimeter wave serves like my work area, like at the bakery. There's a couple of cities that have millimeter wave built out pretty good too.
Granted, all the 5G pixels I've bought supported it, so but I didn't pay extra.
Yeah, see, to me, my market, I'm on board with the millimeter train, bro. I'm with it. This one from Greg. What do you think of the overall state of the networks as of today? What do you expect of the networks by the end of the year?
I
Uh,
hope all three have less sparking copper wires involved.
State of the networks. So today, uh, I think I think T-Mobile's network has improved the greatest. Just if I look back to 2016, 2018, I mean, they have created a lot of capacity. They've done some pretty nice things to upgrade backhaul like recently. We're starting to see like 1500, 1800 megabits per second, Pete, on midband, right? So
Yeah, people have been sending me that speed test form.
I'm jealous, dude. We don't get that here. Like I'm on 1 gig backhaul, dog.
I cap out at maybe 750.
Yeah, so I can tell you, man, uh, there are some things that I wish T-Mobile would do a little bit different when it comes to like actual app usage. Like there's something wrong when you do a speed test. You get a 100 megabit uplink and then like a live stream might fail. That's kind of weird. I have seen some uplink issues on N41, but like the downlink is incredible. Like they're really
So
doing the downlink great.
you've been with me when I hopped on a live stream on some N71. That was
Well,
just
and
fine, wasn't it?
well, if I'm live streaming, I kind of wish I'd be on N71 because I'll get like 20 uplink.
Yeah. So what I do there is I go into my phone settings and lock in 71.
Yeah, and I think that says more about the uplink situation on N41.
Also, half of the time now on 71, I'm on a standalone network. Doesn't
Yeah,
give me the fastest speed, but it's pretty damn reliable.
and see that's the thing. There's no perfect network. Like we need Verizon to upgrade more. We need AT&T to upgrade more. Uh, they're still playing catch up and pops covered. You're still going to get more 5G when on T-Mobile. They've got a ton of N77 built out or N71 and N41. They're cooking. You know, you choose a carrier who's got you covered at a price you can pay. But when it comes to the networks, I like the way they're building, man. Verizon's working fast. They don't like that T-Mobile's gotten ahead of them, and it's got them cooking. So, and AT&T the same thing. They don't want to look like some punks.
Indeed. We get a super chat from MF saying, when for his standard 271, saying, when can T-Mobile use the new 2.5 gigahertz license? Well, since it's white space and was not already active, we're expecting Q1 2023.
Yeah, it's going to be on pretty soon. They don't have to wait
Um,
for any type of like satellite repacking or anything.
Also, another perk of this is if they were able to buy up extra in a county they already had some white space, Slack, um, the radios are already on it. It just needs to be greenlit by the FCC, and you're good. We got a $5 super chat from Lee County Scratchers. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to do Edens or Edens first?
Yeah, only because I try to answer, as many questions as I can. Let's do this one. What you want to do, Eden, is if you have an Android, download some kind of app that allows you to see the RSRP value of your network connection. So, like, say,
Signal
for
checker.
example, yeah, I was going to say Signal Check Pro works good. They have a light version, a free version.
I
If
paid
your
the $5.
RSRP, if your RSRP is like minus 90, minus 95, your signal's decent. If it's in the minus 80s, it's very strong. If your performance is poor and your signal quality is strong and the SINAR is like 10, 15, or 20, I mean those are good numbers. So if your network experience is still slow or poor and you have all those good quality signal metrics, you might just be congested. And that's how you kind of know, like, your signal is strong but the performance is slow. That's probably just too many users on that sector, and you might go on the opposite side of that tower and the network might not be congested. It's just literally sometimes it's sector to sector, and there's three of them on a site and two of them are cooking just fine and the other one is just too many users on it. That can happen too. It's crazy, but it is. And MS, thanks for that super chat. By the way, here's the one from Lee County Scratcher Pete.
And he actually retracted it, but he's wondering what is the cheapest 5G phone that takes advantage of N77 and whatnot. He's currently using Visible. I think the new Samsung A series, I think it's the A53 or 54, may do that. But
I think Pete's right. I think that's probably the best way to go. If your only concern is pricing, I would spend a little bit more money and I would get like a Google Pixel 6.
6A, get the
Yeah,
6A.
a
You'll
6A, yeah,
love
yeah.
it. It's the cost is in the low, really low end for mid range,
Right.
and
So it's not
I
entry, it's more mid-range.
but I think Google might be running a promo on it for something, so you could probably score it for even less if you're going that route. It
Or
also
a trade-in,
supports,
Pete, right?
yep, it also supports eSIM for the Visible, so you'd be on there like nothing. Uh, all around, I think it's a better phone than the previous iPhone minis,
Yeah, I
simply for
agree.
the price and the band compatibility.
Yeah, those are great points, Pete. You did a nice job of highlighting that. I think what's gonna be crucial if it's the pricing that worries you, then always go with what you can afford. If you could find a good deal on it, you know, maybe you could find a good promotion and then you could do a trade-in on one of your older devices. Let's say they give you $100 or $200 on a trade-in. Now you might only be coming out of pocket for 100 or 200 bucks. And then of course you can finance for free through Google. I know not a lot of people, think about it, but like, if
They
you don't want to
gave
come out 100 or $200, but you can afford $10 a month for a year or two, that
Google gave me or Synchronicity, which is a Google Store financing bank. I still have 6 grand of credit with them, and the most I ever spent on them was for a 3XL Pro.
I
Uh,
think I think
Gal-
when it comes to the connections, Pete, you got everything on the Pixel
it
6a.
does have 6, but not 6E.
Yeah, but you're gonna get all the band support, right? You're gonna get N41. You're gonna get, well,
You're
You're
gonna
gonna get
get
the N77.
N25.
Yeah, man, there's gonna be a lot of good there, you know? It's a good device. Now if you're into, like, the iPhones, then you probably just wanna get yourself, one of the last generation phones, maybe a 13 on
SE3 is
sale.
nice.
Yeah. Oh, we got another super chat, Pete. Hit it.
Yeah, we got a $5 super chat from Ruben. Thank you, Big Rubes. Saying, never seen Verizon going after T-Mobile. Shot glass, bikini, hum, fox brain exploding, skull, marketing. Is Verizon in panic mode, Sneed? Great content, by the way.
Hey, thanks, Big Rubes. Appreciate it. You know, I never I didn't think that now was the time for them to respond to some T-Mobile marketing. I always wondered what took them so long. Like, you've been seeing T-Mobile taking market share. You're not growing, they are. You're adding 200,000 fixed wireless subs. They're adding 600,000 fixed wireless subs. They do everything better than you. The only thing that you could argue that Verizon does better than T-Mobile is probably just the network. And now you can make the argument that on the 5G side, like, T-Mobile builds faster. T-Mobile's building more.
Verizon, I think
That
Verizon does beat T-Mobile on like coverage, but it depends on where you travel to and where you live if you actually see that difference.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I will say that I am kind of shocked because Verizon just looked like they didn't care. It sounded, felt like they didn't care what T-Mobile said in their commercials, and they were never going to respond to anything, which I always thought was wrong. Like, if you're sick of getting punched in the mouth, stop getting punched in the mouth and then punch someone else in the mouth. And I just saw Verizon kept on getting punched in the mouth. And then, they kind of did this little jab back, but I mean, it's nothing crazy. That's not going to impact T-Mobile. That's not going to piss off Mike Sievert. They got their little, their plan of execution, and they got their team, and they'll have something witty to come back to. And I expect T-Mobile to continue to lead in marketing and let people know that, you know, they're doing this 5G thing bigger than everybody else. They're going to continue to drive that point home. And Troy, by the way, thank you for increasing your support level on Patreon. I appreciate it very much. And we also had a new member, a new supporter on Patreon, Thomas. Welcome to the community, man. Appreciate your support. And big shout out to Pete and Dave B, my original patrons. Been riding with me for like 4 or 5 years, man. You guys are the best.
I can't believe Dave beat me.
You guys were like it was you, him, maybe there was
We
this.
were the first two, and I think he beat me by a couple hours because I overslept.
You were still in school, man. You were in class probably. Uh yeah, man. You said Verizon has been around longer than T-Mobile. They're supposed to have a better network than them. Yeah, I mean, it's true, but I mean, T-Mobile could have built the network. They were just a much smaller company with a much lower capex. That was the only thing really holding them back. That's really the only thing holding them back now. You know. Hey, Danny, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, that's the one thing that I think both me and Pete can agree on. We discussed the capex is we like to see the network getting a lot of dollars thrown at it.
Networks are money vacuums. The more you throw at them, the further they go. Ruben sends in another $2 super chat saying Sneed calling a spade a spade. I love it.
I try, man. I objectively try to do my best to evaluate and call a spade, man. These companies they don't pay me. I don't owe them anything. And I just don't care about those corporations, man. I just want people to make the right decisions. I want them to be informed. I want them to evaluate where their dollars are going, make sure they're getting the right thing from these guys. In discussion of 5G, with Verizon, yeah, so 5G is going to be the DSS. It could be actually it could be low band DSS, which is sucks. It could be the mid band DSS, which is not that much
Hey,
better, but
I've had some okay experiences with their DSS 5.
I mean, if you got an upgraded site like with good backhaul and it's modern, like you can get 100, 200 megabits on a good site, but like it's not changing your experience. If you put an LTE, you do the same thing. Bo Grant, I hope so as well, since Verizon speeds are slow near the temporary casino. Yeah, they got
Well,
6,
of course, everybody's gambling there,
and they all got Verizon.
and they're wearing socks in their flip flops.
Oh damn! I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, Pete. I know what you're talking about. Flip flops and socks and sweatpants.
Oh yeah. So, Sadiq, what's your view on gambling?
I'm sorry. What did you say, Pete?
What is your view when it comes to gambling?
Gambling. I'm not
Is
really a
it
gambler personally. Um,
it's not my
I'm familiar
jive?
with the games. Like I'm familiar with like Baccarat and um, blackjack. Like I know the games.
I've
Hold'em,
played them.
poker.
I've played them, but they're all like, we get a jar of pennies and pour them out, and then we bet on the with the pennies, and there's no real stakes because that's the dynamic of the game. But I'll never gamble for actual money.
Hey, Danny. Danny's trying the T-Mobile 3-month testing. Pete, you heard about this?
Hey, I commented on it a few times, and good on you, Danny. And it's free, so if you're in one of those markets where T-Mobile is an L, like Pittsburgh, uh, you've tried it, found that it doesn't work for you, and you're all the better.
Pete, I'm not even joking, dog. Like I've tested the T-Mobile network in Pittsburgh, and like you'll get a ton of good speed tests. Like the capacity's there, dude.
But it doesn't perform.
Right. So that's going to be the type of thing. Like if you're just speed testing, you're not really doing what you should be, right? You should be speed testing, obviously, but I think what's more important is you should be putting it through its paces. Like you should be doing your FaceTime or your duo calls or your meets. You should run a Zoom meeting. You should watch live streams. You should, try to upload a couple of larger files. Like you really want to test it, you know. You don't just want to speed test fast.com, Ookla. Those are all just tools, right? But you definitely want to actually run the applications. You want to do what you normally do with that data connection and then compare it to the carrier you got. So, like if you got Verizon, compare it. Does it do the same things that Verizon can do, or does it do them better? Because then you're going to switch and you're going to save money and you're going to say, well, dang, like I'm getting as good or better service and I'm paying less money. That's
Yep.
all you had to do was try, right? You just had to activate your eSIM
I
on your
mean,
unlocked device and you were good to go.
to, even with a 1 month test drive, they were removing the biggest barrier to entry, which is putting down the money and trying it. So $5 from Lee County Scratchers saying, so Peter, the Pixel 6a unlocked from Best Buy would work on visible ultra wideband. Yes.
I don't
Wait.
think it picks up the millimeter wave, but it definitely picks up the N77.
Yeah. Wait, it doesn't pick up millimeter wave? Let
I
me
don't think
hit
so.
Google.
I don't think so. I think there's a Verizon variant of it.
Pixel 6a band
That one would work.
specs.
The Verizon variation would.
Full readout. Let's see. Where are we? Platforms. Network.
The Google phone, Google edition of it is probably just going to be the sub 6.
I'm looking on the Google store right now. Top
Yeah,
specs.
we're getting some people commenting. Ethan saying C band but no millimeter wave. Carlos saying they have
Sub
two
6
versions.
only. You can get millimeter wave plus sub 6 on the GB 62Z model. which is, let's see, where is 15? That is, you order it through the Google Store for that one. And let's see, how much is that?
Here's some advice from Bo Grant. He says Verizon prepaid 6A uses millimeter wave. It unlocks after 60 days of service. Gives you an option, man.
Which model is this on the store? This isn't giving me an option for if I want the Verizon wireless version in the cart. But yeah, if you can figure out if it's Verizon one unlocked uh, on the Google store, you'll be good.
All right, so that's a different phone. The Pro model is the Google Pixel 6 Pro. We were talking about the Google Pixel 6A.
This baby.
Yeah, we love them. We love them. Oh, Anwar, Moose was here, man. He bounced though. He had to go.
Hey, Sneed, it's about 11 o'clock over there.
Close us out, buddy.
You think it's time to close out?
Yeah, run it.
So, let's see. Was that a question you pulled?
Comment. He was saying, is it best to stay with Verizon or move to AT&T or T-Mobile? If
Take the test drive. Try.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just give it a shot. I mean, worst comes to worst, you try the T-Mobile one. Maybe get a cheap Cricket line, and then you just do the comparison.
All right. So, closing out. First up, let's shout out to all those people who contributed super chats. We had Brad, Phony Baloney News, Giuseppe Jimmy, Gene G. Jr., MS, Lee County Stratcher, and Ruben. Last three had a couple. So, yeah. Thank you all for your generosity.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the super chats, and thanks for all the live chat interaction. Thank you for liking this. If you guys enjoyed it and you want to help out the channel, you do that. You hit the like button, share it to others, let them know about the channel, let them know about the podcast. Look out for more content.
Hey,
We got
Sneed.
tons of videos coming up and podcasts regularly.
We got a super chat under the wire from Nicholas
Buzzer beater.
Williams.
Yeah.
Yep. Says he has Verizon in Iowa and has zero issues with calls and handoffs. The data is starting to struggle. T-Mobile is starting to go to rural. Not good yet. Well, when it seems like they improve in your market and you have an eSIM device, you can try them for 3 months, and if they're good or just as good, you're good.
Thanks, buddy.
Got another super chat from Ethan Lawrence as a buzzer beater saying, "Have a good night." Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan. Appreciate it. You too. What do we got? Some hashtags. Whatever one fits for you guys. Hashtag 2LiveCrew. Hashtag Mod Squad. Hashtag Sneed Army. Hashtag Save the Bear. Hashtag Scooter McGee.
Hold up. We got a $5 PayPal donation from Michael Luke. $20 super chat from Pete Fox saying, "Well done, gents. But where is the beanie? I think the beanie is napping." And
Thanks,
another
yeah, we did get the Michael Loke super
Luke.
chat. Thank you. Oh, it's Luke?
Yeah, it's the French spelling of Luke. So
Thanks,
Luke.
Michael. Appreciate it, man.
And another $2 super chat from G. Gene Jr. saying nothing. Thank you so much, Gene.
Thanks, Gene. Hashtag Eat the Bear. That's a new one.
Don't eat the bear. Don't eat the bear. Oh, man. MS chiming in with another super chat at his trademark amount, saying, "Great show and thanks." Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, MS. Thank you to Ethan as well. Everybody with these buzzer beaters, Nicholas, on all these ones that came in at the end, Pete.
Hey, I ravioli gang, so yeah, hashtag ravioli gang.
That's right, man. All right.
God is Helia, spade is spade. I say
That's a good
feed the
one.
bear, hug
Yep.
the bear,
Yeah.
save the bear.
Mama bear, Yogi bear.
Let's go, boo boo.
All right, we out this piece, man.
Peace.
Peace.